Hey you guys, I hope that you're all doing really well. So today's video is kind of an interesting one for me, and it's about 7 things that I've done to drastically improve my fluency in English. And if you're thinking, in English? Victoria, what are you talking about? Your English is totally fluent. Well, my friends, now's the time to tell you that in the past, I've actually had so much difficulty while filming these videos for you guys. And it came as a bit of a shock because I have no trouble communicating in real life. And I've done presentations, big presentations, and I've spoken at conferences at the national level sometimes. And I don't have any stress or anxiety, and I'm a good public speaker. However, there was something about this camera in my face and this light staring at me that actually caused me to lose my fluency so much when I first started doing these videos. And it's very much been a work in progress. I wouldn't say that I'm perfect, but I wanted to share with you guys these 7 changes that I made that I have found have made a really drastic difference. So what exactly am I talking about when I say fluency? Because there are so many definitions of fluency. I'm actually talking about the ease with which conversation flows. So easiness or smoothness or naturalness, all those words kind of come to mind. Again, there are really many different definitions that you can find online, but I found that I was literally like tripping over my words, or that I would get stuck, or that I would say the wrong word. And so I've kind of, over the years, been able to sum up the different variables that affected my fluency. And I would say that the first 6 that I'm going to share with you guys are pretty simple, quick, easy fixes. And then number 7 is actually still kind of a work in progress, and it's easier said than done. My main purpose for filming this video is to give you guys some food for thought, because I think that when we're speaking in a different language than our native language, it's really easy to blame our lack of fluency on the fact that it's not our native language. And so I really wanted to show you guys that even if you're speaking in your most comfortable, most proficient language, there are things that you can externally control that'll actually tremendously impact your speech. So the things that I'm about to share with you guys, they're all really specific to me, but I think that you can analyze your own environment and see if there's any kind of similar stuff that you can apply to your own life. All right, so the first thing that I find really messes up my fluency is if I'm physically uncomfortable. So I had to change the chair that I sit in because the previous chair that I used just wasn't comfortable, and that physical discomfort just caused me to mess up all the time. Another really big one for me is being warm enough. So that's why you guys will find that I wear long sleeves in many of my videos, and that's because if I'm not warm enough, my body is just not going to function correctly, and I do have a lot more trouble just speaking clearly and fluently. So the second thing I find that messes up my fluency, or at least used to when I wouldn't implement this, would be being dehydrated. And especially if I've slammed like 3 coffees that morning, I am not going to have a good recording session. So the lack of hydration isn't what would mess up my fluency per se, but it would be that my voice would kind of give out and disappear and thin out, and so then I'd have to retake a sentence or a paragraph or whatever. And then the frustration inherent in that would cause me to be more stressed, and then that's what would disrupt my fluency. So I think this one's a really good example of how something can relate to your final outcome in a non-linear fashion. So again, for you guys, it may not specifically be hydration, though hydration is very important when we're speaking, but kind of think of these relationships. Does X actually bring about Y, and then that brings about Z, the outcome that you're looking for or not looking for, whatever the case may be. The third thing that really messes up my fluency, and this one very much relates to point number 1, which is being physically comfortable, and that's when I'm hungry. When I'm hungry, again, nothing goes well. Have you guys heard the word hangry? I get hangry. I get like angry when I'm hungry. So if I'm trying to film without having eaten a meal recently, or at least at a normal point during the day, then filming is not going to go well for me. My body's going to be in a lot of stress, and it's going to cause me to mess up over and over and over. And this one, I never cheat with this. I never try to film on an empty stomach, as funny as that sounds to say it out loud. I always make sure that there's food in my belly when I'm filming so that things go as smoothly as possible. The fourth thing that causes me to mess up my fluency is when I'm not breathing correctly. So sometimes I find that I'm breath holding, or sometimes I find that I'm so excited about what I'm saying, I'm talking at like 1,000 miles a minute, and then I run out of air, and then again, I have to retake, and then that's frustrating, and then I mess up and I can't come up with my words correctly. So this one as well as another way to look at it, the chair that I mentioned earlier, not being physically comfortable, that can very much impact our breathing mechanics. And again, there's so many kind of layers to breathing, but if we have shallow breathing, we're inherently activating our body's stress response, so that fight or flight response. So that would also not be very conducive to being able to speak fluently and freely and naturally and easily, because our body's ready to run for our life, basically. So again, breathing, I could go on for hours about the importance of breathing, but I did find that when I wasn't controlling my breathing adequately when recording, when filming, that things would go very badly. The fifth thing that would cause me to disrupt my fluency was back in the day, not too long ago, I used a different camera and it had a record limit of 30 minutes. And I know you guys are thinking 30 minutes should be plenty long for the 10-minute videos you usually put out. And again, because I often retake, recording often takes me longer than 30 minutes. But knowing that like at any moment, everything was gonna shut down and then you have to like restart all these different things, and then it's so much more difficult in the post-processing side of things, having that record limit made me a crazy person. And this in and of itself has been a game changer. And I find that having a camera without a record limit allows me to be much more fluent, much more at ease. And it's obviously because I just don't have that stress in the back of my mind saying, how many minutes has it been? Are you at 20 minutes or are you at 27 minutes? Do you only have 2 minutes left to finish this video? So no record limit. I know that that's not going to apply to many of you guys, but again, just that idea of like a really external, very real, concrete stressor, eliminating that stressor really helped my fluency. So the sixth thing I found that negatively impacted my fluency was recording too late in the day. And I'm not sure why, but even if it's like 5 p.m., 6 p.m., even that is too late. So I'm still functioning at that time and I'm still able to do other things effectively and productively, but filming is not one of them. So actually right now, as I'm filming this, it's about 4:30 p.m. or so, and I'm already kind of pushing it, and I'm kind of laughing in my head because I just messed up this section and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm messing up this section because it's too late in the day and that's what I'm talking about. It's so ironic, but not filming too late in the day was a really big one for me. And the seventh and really biggest and most important factor that I found that relates to my lack of fluency is perfectionism. So it's funny because I wouldn't say that I'm overall this crazy perfectionist, but in certain aspects of my life, I am a perfectionist, and apparently this was one of those areas. So recently and over time, as I've kind of become aware of this, I've really worked on letting go of perfectionism and not holding myself to this impossibly high TED Talk level standard, because this is a YouTube video, and if I want to speak naturally and freely, it's not like I've memorized a script, right? But I found that if I said a word that was an accurate word, but not the perfect word relating to what I wanted to convey, I would scrap the whole piece that I had just said and retake it. And you guys will notice, even in this video, there's a few times where I said a word and then changed my mind. And now I'm letting that be and I'm going with it because it's just a human talking to other humans. But I found that when I held myself to this perfect standard, things really didn't go well. And I think that there's a really deep lesson in this for you guys, because a lot of my clients are self-proclaimed perfectionists. And it's really freeing to just say to yourself, I'm gonna talk what I say has value, and it doesn't have to be perfect to be meaningful, helpful, and all that kind of stuff. So I want you guys to really think about this one, because I'm guessing that some of you guys may also have this quality. It's not necessarily a bad quality in and of itself, but it can really, really block us and cause us to mess up. On this note, I think it's really interesting to share with you guys that on my current YouTube channel, you guys can go back and see about 2 years worth of my videos. But the truth is that I was putting videos up on this channel around 7 years ago. And what is really interesting is that for those videos, I had no expectation or standard. So like the videos were very, very simple. They were really just meant for my clients to be able to practice the material we had covered together. But for that reason, there was zero production value to the videos. I didn't have makeup on, my hair wasn't done, I was in like a poorly lit room on my iPad, not even looking into the iPad, I was just always looking and reading my words. And what's really interesting is that I didn't have any stress in filming these videos. There were no moments in which I would trip over my words because I frankly really didn't care, right? But then as I started analyzing, why am I messing up my current videos? I didn't used to mess up my videos. It's because I'm adding extra stress to the situation, right? So think of your own life, right? Like, are you unnecessarily bringing stress into a situation that doesn't necessarily have to be inherently stressful? So now I'm telling myself, you're filming a YouTube video. It's okay if you don't say the word that you wanted to say. It'll still be a decent video. It'll still get the message across. Don't be crazy. All right, you guys, well, that's it for today's video. I hope that you found it helpful. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.